All right, everybody, we're here with our first ever Grand Archive deck tech. And this is one of the decks that I was playing before Fractured Crown, and I picked up a couple cards in Fractured Crown, not a ton of them, so I think it's an easy one to go over. So this deck is titled Burn. It's basically a Zander assassin version of Red Deck Wins if you played Magic the Gathering. It's a low-to-the-ground ally / direct damage deck that tries to get in early, maybe a couple favorable trades, but just shove a whole bunch of damage face. So what's in the deck here? Well, Spirit of Fire, pretty straightforward. I still value the 7 cards over curating the 6 with the new Fractured Crown Spirit. We have Zander here, and I guess for those of you who haven't played, right, this is your first, your 0 element, or Spirit picks your element. Your level 1 kind of picks your class, and we're an assassin. So what happens here, he glimpses 2, think of that like opt, and then you put a preparation counter on him. And prep counters are something that assassins use for additional things. So a lot of games we end on level 1, which helps us, again, stay low to the ground, stay fast. Means we only have 19 life, but again, we're just racing you, and hopefully you have to use your cards defensively. Tristan can be used, obviously gorgeous card. On hit, you may remove 3 prep counters from Tristan. If you do, destroy the hit ally. I have never used that. The important thing is at the beginning of your end phase of Tristan's Wake, you can put a prep counter on her, so she gets additional prep counters. In addition, she has a 22 hit points. With a Grand Crusader's Ring, just great value, right? We draw a card. Blinding Orb, again, we get to draw a card. Ideally, we play this out with Floating Memory. In addition, they have to put 2 cards from the hand down in the memory. So we can use this to try to stop a Water Shield or some tricksy Earth stuff. Wind, excuse me. Orb of Choking Fumes is phenomenal. First of all, we get the class bonus of Assassin for drawing a card, which is again great if we can play this out with Floating Memory. Cards your opponent activate this turn cost 1 more to activate. It's huge. This is one of the ways we could slow down old Rye. There's other things that have happened for Rye now, but just really good value card. Orb of Regret, we basically just put 3 cards back in our deck, draw 3 new ones. Poisoned Dagger. This is your big kill card, and sometimes we pull this out on round 2, right? Round 1 we go Spirit of Fire, round 2 we go Poisoned Dagger, and anyone that feels rested, that way it's ready for round 3, and maybe we can burst them down early. So Poisoned Dagger says it deals 1 damage to target unit, note heroes or units. Until the end of the turn, if that unit would take damage, it takes that much damage plus 1. So our wide, multiple instances of short damage, right, we pick up that 1 additional damage. This is really kind of the linchpin of the deck here. We have a Ripper. This is the first use we have of the prep counter, right? We can remove the prep counter to swing this for 3. Safeguard Amulet prevents 4 damage for the whole turn. So important there. You also a lot of times don't want to use this in response to their spell. You want to use it beforehand, because if they Arcane Blast you Safeguard Amulet, they can get opportunity and they can respond with a Fire Blast or Fireball, and then Safeguard hasn't resolved it. This is the card that has slowed Rye down dramatically. On enter, draw a card. Hey, really cool. Replaces itself. Players can't draw more than 3 cards each turn unless it's the first turn of the game. So Rye would draw their deck into their hand when they went off, and Title Proclamation is one of the ways that slows that down. And then we have the Verican Soul Knife. This thing is incredible. Class and an elemental bonus. So if we are a fire assassin, you can banish 3 fire cards to activate this card from your material deck. Really cool. Let's just materialize it out of the way. It's a 1/1, and then on kill, you can return it to your material deck. So just a great way to keep your hero knocking down other blitz mages or other 1 health allies. Just a really good card. And the fact that it doesn't cost us our material, it's really cool that we can banish it out there. All right, meat and potatoes of deck. Karazi Courier has stealth, is amazing. Cost 3, is a fire card. On hit, discard a card, draw a discard, right? And if a fire card is discarded, choose an ally or choose a unit, and it deals 1 point of damage. So with the dagger we talked about earlier, right? With Poisoned Dagger, Karazi is going to hit for 1, double that to 2. And then the class bonus, they're going to discard a card. Hopefully it's a fire. That would trigger 1 point of damage, which then makes it 2. So this Karazi swings for 4, right? On the Poisoned Dagger turn. Hasty Messenger, just a way to get cards into our discard, way to loot. Again, hits for 1 up to 2. I'm not going to say that every turn. Blitzmaids at 3 for 3. If Blitzmaid sticks around for more than 1 turn, you are like playing in the sprinklers. Swinging for 6 is amazing. Cemetery Sentry, I don't know if 4 here is right. I went up to 4 because we have Bowman later on here. I think 2 is the right number here. But again, a little expensive, 4 for that 2/2. But when it comes into play, you can discard a fire card. If you do draw a card, we get a lot of synergies from fire cards in our bin. Arthur Probably the best card in the deck. If we can first turn Arthur, or if we go turn 1, right, we can Arthur plus a 2-drop. Really amazing. So on turn 0 or on turn 1, Arthur can come in and gain immortality if you don't want to swing. It just means he lives for a round. But otherwise, Arthur swings for 2, and he buffs other allies per 1 as long as he's rested. So just a ton of value if Arthur's able to stick around for more than 1 or 2 turns. Kingdom Informant has floating memory and stealth. It's another 2-drop. And the big thing is, like, if our opponent goes on turn 0 and we go on turn 1, right? We have 7, we drop to 8, right? So we're 5 cards to play this out. We have 3 cards left in our hand. It lets us play one of these 2-drops. That's the reason we have so many 2-drops in here. So Arthur plus Kingdom Informant, Arthur plus Vanguard, Arthur plus Woodland Squirrels is probably one of our strongest openings. We got also Arthur to Hasty. But we're basically trying to get Arthur plus another creature down when we go second as much as possible. And then Floating Memory is really good. Floating Memory is really good. It's a squirrel. It's a 0 for a 1/1. Just gets us wider. Gildas, the Chronicle of Asa, can swing for 4. Sometimes they don't. It takes a little bit of finagling to get used to her. There are definitely turns when it's really easy to turn it on and turns when it's really hard to turn it on. When she swings for 4, she's amazing. That's not a hot take. Ignited Stab. You can remove a prep counter. If it was prepped, it swings for 4. If it wasn't, it swings for 2. So 1 for 2, 1 for 4. Rending Flame, second best card in the deck. I think this is worse than Arthur. Some people would disagree. You may banish 3 fire elemental cards from your graveyard. Remember all the looting we have earlier? Whenever this attack would deal damage, it deals double that damage instead. So it's a great way to swing for 3 up to 6. If we have a weapon out there, we can swing for 4 up to 8. So just a really powerful effect there. Note with the dagger's not going to double. Your opponent's going to pick the order in which it happens. So the dagger and the base Rending Flames will swing for 3 to 6, plus the additional 1 to 7, which again, 7 damage is still a lot. Planted Explosives, 2 or 4 damage with a prep counter. Again, really good. Creative Shock. Note we're not a mage. I can't tell you how many times I try to shock someone after I use this. Basically just a way to filter fire cards into our graveyard. Tempered Steel. This is one of the fire cards we want to discard. It's floating memory, plus it's a fire card, right? So turns on the Courier, turns on the Sentry, gets a floating memory in there. Just a good card. Cremation Ritual blows up our own creatures to draw us 2 cards. Love-hate relationship with this card. When we blow something up with floating memory, tons of value about it. So we do like Cremation Ritual. Also, we can just discard it to any of these to additional value. Blazing Bowman is the other new card out of Fractured Crown we got here. Can't be retaliated. You may banish a fire elemental card. If you do, Blazing Bowman gets +2 till the end of the turn. That lets us swing for basically a 3 for 4, right? If we're saying Blitz Mage is 3 for 3, if it sticks around for 1 turn is good value, 2 turns we're playing in the sprinklers, Bowman is basically the same thing, right? We're hopefully a 3 for 4. And if we stick around for 2 turns and we end up with that second hit for 2, then we're kind of sitting pretty. The fact that it can't be retaliated is pretty slick too. You can actually kill some really big things, keep the Bowman around for an additional turn. So I like Bowman. Currently running 2 of them. Maybe we up that in the future. Kind of depends where the meta settles into. Sideboard's pretty straightforward. Flame Sweep. It's a cleave. Sometimes we need to cleave things. Zander level 2 I don't know is right, but it's in the list right now. I think this needs to come out. I'm honestly not sure. Curved Dagger, in case, again, we're dealing with more allies, and Spurn to Ash. So we have a lot of things that want fire cards in the graveyard, so Nullifying Lantern kind of messes us up. Spurn to Ash is one of the ways we're able to take care of it. So, again, this is a high-level overview of a Fire Assassin Zander deck. We can definitely level up to Tristan if we need to. A, Tristan's gorgeous, and B, she's pretty cool, giving us extra prep counters. We're trying to stay low to the ground with a bunch of cheap allies. We're trying to buff those allies with Arthur here to give them additional +1. On our kill turn, we're trying to use this Poisoned Dagger to make each one of those small little poke attacks do 1 extra point of damage. Because of the way it works with the unresting, the readying of cards, a lot of times we need to go turn 0 Spirit, turn 1 Poisoned Dagger, turn 3 Zander, right? So 1, 2, 3. That way the Poisoned Dagger is ready for that turn on Zander, and hopefully you can swing for a lot on the board. If we're going on turn 0, we want to ideally play Arthur, interim tap for immortality. If we're going on turn 1, again, Arthur plus any of our 2-drops or the squirrels, our best choice, right? Arthur then swings for 2, and then any of these is going to swing for 2 as well. That gets us that nice clean 4 damage in on turn 1. So we're trying to end the game quickly. We're low to the ground. With Rye being slowed down and neutered, I think this deck has a lot of legs in it. I'm really excited about the Soul Knife. I'm also really excited about the Bowman. I think they're really cool additions to the game. In addition, the title proclamation and slowing Rye down, I think, is really healthy for the game meta. Now, is this deck good enough to beat Wind Lorraine? I don't know. I think Wind Lorraine is still really good, but I've had a ton of fun playing this deck. I hope you can check it out and enjoy it. Again, let me know what you think about the first Grand Archive deck tech here, going over this Zander, Tristan, Fire Assassin, Red Deck Wins deck. We might have some TTS games coming up. I really hate Tabletop Simulator, but I think it's the best way to get kind of Grand Archive games up here. We'll probably be doing a deck tech every week. Let me know if you're excited about Grand Archive. Let me know if you're checking out. Again, if you're in Colorado, you can find me at Dueling Land or at Smetrak Games. We're going to be doing some Learn to Plays there too. So let me know what you think about Tristan. Let me know what you think about Zander. Let me know if you think there's a Fractured Crown card that should be in this list that I'm missing. And until next time, everyone, cheers. Happy gaming.